That's great. I guess quick shout out to our tracker today. Oddwalls is going to be taking care of duties behind the scenes there, and our restreamer Liminality Carb. Thank you for restreaming this one, so we wouldn't have a race today.
Mm-hmm. So we are starting off. Get 50 rupees in the chest in Link's house. So going back, this is a standard mode race, but it has uncle randomized weapons, which means that the uncle isn't going to be just giving us a sword. It's basically one of like 6 or 7 options that the uncle can give you. So we'll be seeing what the uncle gives us today very shortly.
I'm always looking for something progression related so that I don't have to pick up any other items there. But today we're getting bombs.
Yeah, I like the bomb start because, well, it's really fun to see the strats that people have put together with bombs.
Definitely.
And also, you don't actually have to farm for bombs, too, which is also really nice.
I would say that this is probably one of the trickier items to pick up from the uncle here. This, and I feel like Cane of Brian is also one of those ones that is tricky to use through the entire escape sequence.
Yeah. Cane of Samaria is relatively easy, but I think it's hard to optimize.
Yeah.
If you want to go fast with it, that is, like, it's easy enough to just get through. Cane of Brian is difficult if you want to farm for bombs. You definitely need to know where all of the small magic containers are in this dungeon. Ooh. Nice strat by Fuzzy. We get a Moon Pearl here.
Yeah, that was a really nice first bomb room. I think that it looks a lot like some of the tutorials that we've seen some of our top runners show off for some of our newer runners. So good use of the bombs.
Yeah. The thing about the bomb strat is that you really need to practice strats. And Fuzzy and Profe are displaying exactly why. Fuzzy was able to get through this room in just a few seconds, but Profe had to play Ring Around the Rosie here.
Yeah.
With this blue guard.
What's going to be tricky for Profe going forward here is he's going to be very careful with his remaining bombs. He'll have just enough to kind of get through the bottom part of the escape sequence here, and we'll have one left over for the sewer section. So might have to try and farm for some bombs somewhere somehow.
Yeah. So one thing that is worth noting about this mode in particular, as Profe takes a death, unfortunately, and that's actually a good segue into this, is if you die, as Profe is demonstrating, you do get some amount of your resources back. If you start with a magic using item, you get some magic back. If you have a bow, you get arrows back. So you can't really soft log and have to restart from scratch. The devs have made it a lot nicer to just actually get through here if you're having issues.
Yeah, I think as early on, they did not do that. And so if you ran out of bombs, you would have to just reset, basically.
Yeah, with bombs in particular, they went through a couple iterations. They were originally going to make it so that you just started off with higher bomb capacity. So you got like 15 bombs or 20 bombs, depending on if you're playing on normal or easy. But they went back and did this more, I don't know, friendlier variant.
Yeah, I think it definitely helps out for anyone who's a little bit newer to the scene, because this would definitely be kind of a bit more of an advanced strat to try and pull off. But it looks like Profe's making his way through here a little better.
Yeah. I just really want to see them add a bee in a bottle and bug net combo.
That'd be really hype.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely been ROM hacks. I think Wizrobe made one where that's what you had to do through escape.
Sweet.
So yep, Fuzzy is heading into the sewer section, not out of the woods just yet. In fact, only having 2 bombs means that Fuzzy has 1 shot at hitting this upcoming rat, the key-holding rat. And if he misses that, then he's not gonna have a bomb for, you know, the 3 chests on the left side.
Yeah, and as we just saw the map there, that means that everything here in the back part of Escape is there's going to be 3 items in those chests and then 1 more at the sanctuary. So there could be something of value hidden in that bombable section.
Oh, nice.
That worked out really well.
Yeah, it's very hard to predict what that rat is going to do, and kamikaze strats there pretty good, because if you're able to just walk up and hand the rat a bomb, then it takes a lot of the guesswork out of the picture. We do get a first sword here, getting rewarded immediately, as well as the flippers.
Yeah, so missing out on that would have been a big time loss.
Yeah. One of the worst things to happen is if your first available glove is in that room.
Mm.
And in that case, you may be forced to just walk through the entire castle sewer sequence again.
Right.
Yeah, if you're lucky, probably in this case, you'll be able to just come back, you know, with the gloves and take the shortcut there.
Yeah, definitely. So Fuzzy's out, heading towards Kakariko and Lost Woods, it looks like, and Profay is making his way through Escape again with 5 bombs in tow, so should be in pretty good shape.
Yeah, so Fuzzy opting not to go check Lumberjack, which I typically like to check Lumberjack specifically because, in this case, Fuzzy doesn't have any extra bombs for Kakariko. So getting the tree pull, I mean, he's probably named tree pull here, but getting that tree pull and being able to even check like another tier of it, as well as being able to check the bush crabs, what they have. Like those are all very valuable things to have early on, along with
Yeah, there's
knowledge.
definitely some. Yeah, I would say the knowledge especially is worthwhile. I find that I've been skipping that lumberjack check as well, but that is it's always a chance to bite you in the butt if you don't know that it might be an AGA required seed.
Profay is a little hurting here. Also seems like he turned off the heart beeps, which is interesting. Does get these 3 chests on the left side. Is a bit behind from that death and lacking the optimization that FuzzyGames had. Fuzzy is gonna opt to gamble on Blind's Hut here. Doesn't actually have the money to buy bombs either way, I guess. Well, that's not going to help you. But the flutes early on is a nice thing to see, especially considering you're right next to where he activated.
Yep, definitely.
Does not find a bomb. So Fuzzy is going to have to come back in here once he gets bombs. This is kind of looking like a bit of a poverty seed on Fuzzy's side so far.
Yeah,
there
definitely.
Might be some rupees here in the well, or bombs. There we go. Wow. So that's 2 locations Fuzzy's going to have to revisit now. Which is good for Profay because, again, Profay is a bit behind from the bomb escape sequence.
It's always nice sub 10 minutes taking care of the flute here. Oh, and we find out that the powder is hanging out on the lumberjack ledge there.
That is not something you want to see.
No.
I don't think any runner would be happy seeing that. Like, unless this seed would just force you to do AGA anyway to get to the Dark World. It's just, yeah.
Yeah. At our map check here, 5-6 crystals are Eastern and Tower of Hera, and the red pendant was in the desert.
That's a little suspect, having two red crystals in the light world.
Yeah.
Alright, so Fuzzy's gonna have to spend some time backtracking through Kakariko here. Unfortunately, might not have the ability to check, the race game in the library too, or just have to put it off until later. Let's get a nice chicken clip though.
Yeah. So Profay is also stepping into Kakariko without any bombs. We'll see if he maybe writes things a little bit differently here.
Yeah, he does have the money to buy bombs if he forgoes the bottle vendor, but does just dive deep into Blind's hut. Will be similarly disappointed as Fuzzy was to learn that there's no bombs in here.
So far, it's been a bit of a healthy seed. Our runners have 7 and 6 hearts apiece here. That's kind of nice. It's never fun to be playing the early game with, 3 hearts, 4 hearts.
Yeah, and it looks like nothing good in these bombable walls, so Fuzzy wasting a bit of time here that Profay is probably also going to waste.
Yeah, and that always feels like in the early game. It really feels like a big waste of time when you have to go back and then there's nothing in these locations that you have to bomb. You're like, I'm already behind, but in this case, Fuzzy is not.
Yeah, Fuzzy checking the back of the tavern. I'm surprised he did this, not before he bought the bombs in the shop here. But Fuzzy does have an excuse now to actually check the library and the time trial. Nothing in the library except for a arrow upgrade. Not the arrow upgrade we're looking for.
No, definitely not an item that will tempt our runners.
Although that is an item that will tempt our runners with the bow at the time trial.
Definitely.
I would consider the bow an arrow upgrade.
Yeah, yeah.
Strictly speaking. So yeah, with the bow in hand, I'm wondering if Fuzzy's gonna make a beeline straight for Eastern Palace, even though we don't have the lamp yet. With it being a red crystal, I think it's probably worth it.
Yeah, I would agree. We might even find the lamp if we check out South Shore next. But failing that, a dive into Eastern Palace, if you can navigate those dark rooms, I think it would be a worthwhile venture at this point.
Yeah, Fuzzy is opting to do the South Shore. I don't disagree with this. But I don't know. Eastern Palace is fully clearable if you can do the dark rooms. I personally would have probably just done that. And Profay going to be activating his flute. We do see a rusty shield here next to the dam. Wonder if Fuzzy's going to pick it up. I mean, I would. Yep, Fuzzy polishes off the shield and starts using it like a pro.
Heading over to Mini Moldorm. I wonder if we'll see anything past Mini Moldorm if we get any of the Flippers locations or the Ice Rod Cave.
Yeah. I like to think that an early Flippers is kind of a trap item, but in this case, having the flute to get back to Ice Cave makes it a lot less of a trap. The trap being like you would skip out on Ice Cave and maybe not check it until way later. And if it has something important like the mirror, then you're in trouble. But in this case, you can just flute there and it's fine.
Yeah.
Now, one thing, we don't have Zora money yet. Oh, there's our Mire. Speaking of the devil, Fuzzy is opting to save and quit instead of checking out the flipper locations. Wondering if he's going to be going up to the mountain.
Looks like he might be doing the Eastern play now.
I don't know. At this point, I probably would have gone to the mountain, seeing that Mire. But having both Eastern Palace and Tower of Hera clearable right now, I mean, Eastern Palace isn't in the logic yet, but Lamp, I don't think Lamp's going to be very far. I think this might be a required Pyramid Fairy Seed.
Yeah.
Profay is going to be picking up the bow, wondering what Profay is going to do after this. If he's going to go directly into Eastern Palace or check the South Shore.
Looks like it's going to be South Shore for Profay as well. So I imagine that if Fuzzy is jumping into Eastern Palace here, is probably comfortable with the dark rooms here. I wouldn't jump into Eastern Palace if I wasn't comfortable with the possibility of doing rooms without the lamp. So I got a feeling that he'll be okay here. And Profay is choosing to leave that rusted shield there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably worth it. You can save a little bit of time just getting the shields, just by virtue of blocking arrows or other shots that might otherwise hit you and knock you back.
And I mean, an early shield upgrade might mean that the others are not far behind, and it could be a required item for Laser Bridge or something like that. So, I don't know. If I don't see a shield until much later in the game, then I would definitely just leave it alone. But early on, I think it's a worthwhile pickup.
Mm-hmm. Do want to correct something I said earlier. We don't necessarily know if Hera is fully clearable, because it could require a fire source.
That's true.
Now, Fuzzy accidentally spawned a third skeleton in that Stalfos room. Didn't lose too much time because of it, and again, Fuzzy is still a few minutes ahead from that escape sequence. Profay is actually going to be checking out this ice rod cave, wondering what's inside. Also wondering if Profay is going to be checking... Uh-oh. Okay, Profay is not going to be checking out Ice Rod Cave today.
Oh, was that his last bomb?
Yeah. I was going to make a note that Profay was opting to use bomb strats in Mini Moldorm Cave despite having 2 methods of dispatching the Moldorms.
Yeah, right?
So Profay is opting to head up to the mountain. Doesn't want to do the dark room to save the old man. While Fuzzy is doing some dark rooms himself, going towards the vanilla big key chest in Eastern Palace. Having a bit of trouble here, though, looks like.
But in the end, makes it through there, so that's nice to see.
Fuzzy doing the nice NMG strat here. Gets rewarded with a map. Not the best reward. I don't think any of these runners have trouble navigating the dungeons at this point.
Yeah, no. So Fuzzy is going to head towards the Armos Knights here. Now, this dark room I find is a little bit trickier, but as long as I think he's got the right idea in mind here.
Profea opting to pick up the blue mail here inside Spectacle Rock, which I find especially interesting because he skipped out on the shield, which would have taken
Yeah.
a lot less time. Ooh, Fuzzy taking a death here. This is honestly one of the hardest dark rooms in the game, in my opinion.
It is, yeah.
It's easy to go off the rails, and once it's off the rails, if you can't escape the room, you're basically dead. Like, you can't get past that. So that's giving Profe an opportunity to catch back up. He is going up to Hera, which I believe is a good play. I think both of these players are making good plays right now, but we'll see which one pays off more.
Yeah, so far Fuzzy didn't really find anything in Eastern that gave him any kind of progressions, so it's just kind of getting through this dungeon is going to be important for him. Profe, we're waiting on the key here. We need to know if it's lamp or fire source locked at this point.
Yeah. It is.
And it is, okay.
So yeah, Hera is not clearable yet, interestingly enough. We do need the lamp or fire rod.
Makes me think that it might be Waterfall Cave or Hobo or on Zora or the Ledge there. Something Flippers related, I guess.
So Fuzzy did get the key from this Igor. He's having a bit of trouble getting upstairs, however. It's honestly easier said than done. Like, getting the key, everybody thinks like, oh, that's the hard part, but not necessarily.
Yeah, it's getting up to that top left corner, picking up that pot and not getting bodied by the Igors in there.
The secret is that pot, you can't be hugging the top wall. Link will not grab that pot if you're hugging the top wall. You're not aligned with it properly.
Oh, so it looks like Profe is going to be farming some rupees here in Blind's Hut, trying to get up to 500 so that they can do clear out everything in the Zora area in one go.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a bad idea. I was going to make a comment earlier that we kind of locked ourselves out of Houlihan access once we found that flipper. Or I should say easy Houlihan access.
Yeah, right.
So Fuzzy making his way into the final rooms of Eastern Palace. We'll see what Armos has for us today, outside of a crystal. All right. So Profe has all of the rupees he needs now. Honestly, probably hoping he doesn't find any rupees along the way.
Yeah, really. And just $5 from the Armos Knights, but they go down, and Fuzzy has his first crystal.
Yeah. One of the worst feelings when you're playing Randomizer is if you gamble on, say, any amount of rupees, like a big 20, appearing between like Hobo, Waterfall Cave, and the Zora Ledge, and then finding nothing, and then like you're
terrible feeling.
You're stuck like farming Zoras, and then they don't have any rupees in their prize pack, and it's like, what are you doing to me, game? Do find the lamp
sure enough,
here.
There it is, the lamp.
So that puts both of our red crystals fully in logic. So once we have access to the Dark World, we'll also be able to to bring that, chest to the pyramid. It might be a bit hard depending on where the hammer is, but if hammer is part of our Dark World access, then it'll be a cinch.
Definitely.
Oh, there's some money. Although that wouldn't be enough to even defray one trip into Blind's Hut.
True, true. Also picking up the red mail. So Profe is definitely got a nice defensive pack going here.
Yeah. So the thing here is, Fuzzy probably gave Profe back all of the time he lost from the bomb escape sequence through his death and other difficulty in Eastern Palace. However, Profe also spent some time going into Hera that Fuzzy's going to be making up by not having to do that. Oh wait, actually, no. Fuzzy doesn't have the lamp yet.
No, yeah.
But it looks like he's not going to opt to go into Hera. Okay. We'll see if Fuzzy decides to actually go towards Zora, and it looks like he is.
So I'm starting to wonder if this might be an ag-required seed. We're running out of item locations at this point. I think we got Agina's Cave and then whatever is in Tower of Hera. If we get a sword upgrade or the cape coming up soon, then I think it's kind of pointing towards that as being our Dark World access.
Yeah, and we notably do not have any of the items necessary to otherwise get into the Dark World.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's likely. It's very likely. The only other option is if, say, Hookshot is in Hera, and then East Death Mountain has like a smorgasbord of Dark World access.
Yeah.
So Fuzzy is gonna be aligning the sequence once more by finding the lamp here at Hobo. We'll probably be heading directly up to Hera after making his way up towards Zora. I don't think Fuzzy will find enough money just in the world to actually buy the Zora item. So he might actually have to farm some Zoras, as I was saying.
Yeah. There'll be the big 20 in the waterfall cave, so it'll put him close, but he's going to be short by a couple dollars for sure. Or a couple rupees, I guess.
I think like Zora should have one of those like need a penny, take a penny jars or dishes, trays, whatever you call them. Just need a rupee, take a rupee.
That'd be pretty funny.
I always wonder like how do you break a 300 rupee? Like if you go to a shop, do they just like have all an assortment of rupees behind the counter? Alright, so we're seeing here the Agina check. This is one of a few locations that are available to us in terms of gaining more knowledge. And it is just arrows.
So that really does just leave the two items in Hera at this point.
Yeah. Fuzzy opting to start at Link's house, probably slightly regretting it. Just gonna flute back up there. Or not.
Oh, I guess he didn't do the waterfall.
Oh.
He after the hobo decided to go to Agina's cave first.
Yeah, I just noticed that. So yep, we're 3 rupees away from from Zora money. Wonder if he's gonna go on some crab slaughter. Oh, there's 1 rupee. Pick it up. Yep.
Ooh, getting
2
close.
rupees away. The Zora sprite, when you hit it, is like the saddest looking thing
It
in
is.
the world. You hit it, it looks, oh my god, it's so sad. It's like it's just trying to convey how sorry it is that it tried to hurt you. Please don't kill me. And this is not where you want to be as a runner. We do know that there are rupees in the Zora prize pack. However, you know, it's like a 50% drop, or I think it's actually randomized slightly what percent it is. We could also slash those bushes. I think the bushes might have rupees in them as well, potentially. Also, neither of these runners are opting to actually use the flippers to get through here, which I find interesting. My kingdom for a rupee is what FuzzyGames is saying right now. Remembering we can actually slash bushes. Does sometimes have money in them. I'm wondering where he's going now, if he's just gonna go back to killing crabs or what. Or if he's just gonna give up on Zora for now.
Yeah, it might be backing out to take care of the crabs and then go back in.
Yeah, and this is another thing that is giving Profe a lot of time back. In fact, I think any amount of time Profe lost during the escape sequence is now back, you know, on the clock.
Yeah, because from right here, Profe's going to head up to Hera at this point, which Fuzzy hasn't been able to do yet because of this Zora money farming.
Where, like, it's the weirdest thing. It's like, where do you get money in this game?
Yeah.
Now we've taken to murdering pickles. Like, this is how far we've fallen, and Fuzzy can actually get back to the witch's area from that direction. Don't even have the glove either.
It's just 1 rupee. Oh, there we go. There's the drop.
Fuzzy is not happy about that. Alright, so Profe opting to go to Hera. Was able to just grab the old man. Gets rewarded with a little bit of money that I'm sure Fuzzy would have loved to have had.
Yeah.
I must say it was a little eerily prescient that I decided to talk about how painful it can be to farm money for Zora
Yeah.
before it happened. Anyway, so we are going to be seeing what's upstairs in Hera in short order. And we are going to be getting our second and final important crystal, or red crystal, or whatever you want to call it. So that's going to put Pyramid Fairy in the logic once we have Dark World access. You can't walk the bomb all the way around the world, at least not through the logic. It is very possible to have a seed that wants you to do Aghanim simply so you have that Dark World portal.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at this point, is that would be their only access. If we don't have the hammer at any point soon, that's what we're looking at for how to return the bomb to Pyramid.
But yeah, considering the red crystal placement in this game, I think there's got to be something inside that pyramid. And if the hammer's in there, this could be an interesting race, to say the least.
Yeah.
Especially because if you get the boots or the mirror, you can actually you can actually skip that requirement, that aggro requirement, through glitches, but you need to know those glitches.
So we really got ourselves a race here. Both of our runners are here in Tower of Hera, and FuzzyGames is only maybe about a minute behind with this tile room sequence. So really interesting that it's kind of leveled itself at this point.
All right, so we're going to be actually seeing some items here finally. We get a Master Sword here in Hera. That does unlock Aghanim.
Yep, so only one more item left here that might sway our runners away from an Aga play, but at this point it's looking even more likely.
Ooh, Profe accidentally walked on top of the switch and has to climb back upstairs to fall back downstairs again. Ooh, Fuzzy accidentally falling in a hole here. He doesn't lose a ton of time. And yep, that about seals it. It's Aga time. This seed is not very nice.
No.
I'm gonna say that.
Although both of our runners will have 2 crystals completed. Yeah, the access into the Dark World here, that's pretty mean. Aga required is never fun. And then once they get into the Dark World, where do we go? It's going to have to be that the Pyramid Fairy, I think.
Yeah, well, they still need... They don't have access to the Pyramid Fairy just yet, because...
That's true.
You need either the hammer or Mire to do that. So, if this seed is really mean, it could put, say... Oh yeah, that's true, we do have the Mire. Huh. So after Aghanim, or Aga, you still need access to the western part of the Dark World, I guess is the problem here.
Right, yeah. So then we're likely looking at something either on Pyramid Ledge or in Palace of Darkness. That'll be progression.
Look at this almost sync here.
Nice.
Like, I think Profe might still have to check Agina's cave. Not 100% sure.
Yeah, he hasn't been there yet, so might opt to do that to try and avoid the Aga play. But Fuzzy definitely knows it's Aga time.
Honestly, where is Profe going? Oh, he never actually got through Ice Rod Cave because his bomb was a misfire. And Fuzzy is retaking the lead, going back into the castle. Same castle we had to enter to rescue Zelda. But this time we're going upstairs instead of downstairs. Having bombs on that chest is a little...
Yeah.
coincidental. It's like the game is mocking him at this point.
Yeah, really.
It's also really weird. We are approaching the 40-minute mark with no gloves.
Yeah.
No hammer. Like, what is this seed? We do not have Dark World access, or we do not have Western Dark World access. We don't even have access to Catfish.
Yeah.
Once we get into the Dark World, all we have is Pyramid, Palace of Darkness, and whatever's on the hilly island, which I don't think it's anything.
I think it was also some bombs. So yeah, definitely nothing worthwhile. So I guess
getting.
oh, I was just gonna say. So I hope for these runners' sake that the pyramid ledge does have something, and that pod also has a couple of things. Like it kind of opens up for them because so far it's been pretty linear and kind of mean. So hopefully there'll be a little bit more once they get into the dark world to help them out.
Yeah, Palace of Darkness is almost guaranteed to have something. The chances of it not having anything is like slim to none.
Yeah, I mean, when we've got access to all parts of it, with the exception of Helmasaur himself, so there's a lot of chests to open up for sure.
I really hope this is a hammer in Pyramid Fairy situation, and they find like the hook shots in Palace of Darkness and are forced to like walk around the entire world, get to the bomb shop that way, and then Mire, and walk through the gates of the castle to enter the dark world.
That'd be pretty rough.
Yeah. Those sorts of situations can really trip up runners that aren't as familiar with the logic of the randomizer.
Yeah, I mean, for a lot of runners, if you picked up the hook shot on in the east part of the Dark World, and then thus giving you access to that everything on the west side, you might not think that Pyramid Fairy is going to have anything for you because you're going to have access to Village of Outcasts and Thieves Town, and so you're going to run through quite a lot of locations before you start to think that it might be Pyramid Fairy again.
Mm-hmm. And the worst would be if they decide to do Thieves Town without the hammer. If there's an item in there.
That's mean.
That's even worse. My motto is I will do Thieves Town if I have no good way to get back to that area.
Yeah.
Like regardless of whether or not I have the hammer.
Ooh, and I see Wolfgang Sandwich making a good point in chat there. Fuzzy doesn't have enough rupees to get into Pod right now. He can't pay Kiki.
That's true. Profay does though.
Yeah.
This is funny actually. Where did all these rupees come from? Oh yeah, Fuzzy or Profay actually did rupee farm. That's why.
That could really pay off at this point.
And the worst part is, we don't have a glove, and we do have the flippers. We don't have boots. We have absolutely no way of getting into into the Houlihan room.
Well,
like,
yeah.
From the absolute start of the game, you can get into the Houlihan room, but the second you find the flippers, you can't. Until you get the gloves or the boots. So the rupee farm is gonna be painful. And the best rupee farm is what Profay did.
Yeah.
At 30 rupees a pop, but you have to go downstairs into Blind's hut, and then every time you have to walk back upstairs and go outside. If you have the glove in hand, which again, you could just go to Houlihan room in that case, but if you have the glove in hand, you could easily just do the rupee farm near desert.
Yeah. So Fuzzy takes down Aga1. We're gonna see what's on the pyramid ledge here.
Hopefully it's some money. Fuzzy's just gonna get it. Oh, and it's our glove. That's actually really good for Fuzzy.
Yeah.
And Fuzzy does realize he does not have the money for Palace of Darkness, but doesn't realize that he could have just went to Catfish, and also doesn't realize that he just ends up back where he was. And he saved and quit. I know that personally trips me up constantly.
Definitely, yeah.
Most of the time, you're not gonna. Okay, Fuzzy realizing he doesn't have the money, or at least realizing that Catfish is an option. Now let's hope Catfish has some deep pockets today, for Fuzzy's sake.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we might have to mirror out and farm some more Zoras.
Oh God.
But also, hopefully, Fuzzy does realize that he doesn't have the money for Palace of Darkness. That's another thing that's really easy to forget
Yeah.
if you don't play this game like an absolute ton, because it's so uncommon that you don't have money when you even think about going to Zora. Profe's a little low in health. Hopefully, he doesn't take a death here in Aga 1. We do get a first bottle here from Catfish. And Fuzzy falling for the trap yet again. Unless that's what he wanted to do. It looks like he's gonna try to go to Zora. Or not Zora, Palace of Darkness.
How long until he realizes he does not have the cash for this?
It's gonna be like once the monkey is, you know, running away.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's like once he sees the money start ticking down, once you pick up the money the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the sort of thing that Profe really needs to happen. Again, Profe started this seed. Ooh, okay, Fuzzy realizing the trouble, but also not realizing that he needs to mirror.
So we got a nice map check there from Profe. So our blue pendant is Pod, and the green pendant was Ice Palace, I think I saw there.
Your guess is as good as mine. I missed it entirely. And Fuzzy is going to opt to turn in the Sick Kid item here. Gets a full heart. Now, Fuzzy does have the opportunity to do Houlihan Room now.
Oh, okay.
But it looks like he's going to opt to do the slower Rupee farm strat, so he might not know the easy way to get to Houlihan Room through the back of escape pit, the one under the grave.
Right, yeah.
Yep, so Profe picking up this bottle and mirroring out. Looks like he's probably going to check Sick Kid first as well. Gonna get another heart container for his efforts, but the only option he has is gonna be going towards whatchamacallit?
Pod.
So Fuzzy picking up the bare minimum amount of money to get into Palace of Darkness. Let's hope for his sake that he doesn't get hit in carrying Fuzzy to the dungeon. Even left a pot with 5 rupees in there that would have given him at least a buffer to do that. And these runners are very close to each other.
Yeah.
Even after 49 minutes, we are now on a mission to enter this Palace of Darkness. A palace we can't even complete yet. Just want to throw that out there. But we can clear most of the items out of it, or all of them if Helmasaur has something junk. Honestly, like, Fuzzy has had the better execution this seed. He's just been constantly running into, like, rupee troubles.
Yeah.
And Profe was able to, you know, do some rupee farming earlier on and avoid all these troubles altogether. Now that being said, you can still get hit. Okay, it looks like neither of our runners are going to get hit entering Palace of Darkness. Fuzzy entering Palace of Darkness with a total of 6 rupees.
So yeah, what are we gonna find in here? Like, their options are pretty pretty extensive. There could be a lot of different items in here that could lead our runners in different directions. I'm thinking like hook shot, hammer, maybe the Titan's mitts.
Yeah, any of those, all of the above.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even help. This is a pendant dungeon.
Yeah, really.
Like you have to come into this pendant dungeon just to do anything in the seed.
I'm really enjoying the fact that this race is so close. It's always exciting when both runners are kind of neck and neck here. Makes for a good race.
Yeah, people have pointed out in the past, and I definitely agree with it, the fact that it's always interesting to see runners like start off the same. You know, they're going through they're going through escape, and it's always the same. Then they go and clear Kakariko or whatever, right? And it'll probably be very similar there. But then they often go off in like entirely different directions, and then oftentimes like this, they just end up in the same place at
Yeah.
the end. Like the sea just funnels you back to certain locations, and honestly, like Prophet has really caught up here just through Palace of Darkness.
Yeah.
In fact, is slightly in the lead now, despite entering Palace of Darkness a few seconds after Fuzzy did. Our tracker in chat asking about PED possibilities. I think it's probably easier to say what can't be on PED at this point.
Yeah, we're probably limited to ice rod medallions.
Fuzzy's going for a hammer yump, looks like. Does have the big key, so it is it's a pretty good play. I'm wondering if Prophet is able to do that.
Hammer Yump,
Honestly,
Hammer Yump is a pretty swag strat that I have never been able to figure out how to do right.
yeah, I haven't even tried to learn it yet. The thing is like, in this case, Fuzzy is spending a lot of time setting up the jump through menu buffers, and honestly, in a seed like this, it's probably faster if you can't do a perfect hammer jump or close to perfect to just do it the slow way.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, given that we haven't found anything yet, yeah. I mean, we're kind of like full clearing this. Oh, the book. Oh.
I think our restreamer was saying something about book in Palace of Darkness leading to Hammer in Desert. Hopefully that doesn't come to pass today.
Yeah, I saw Liminality talking about that for sure.
Oh, and there's another thing. Fuzzy did the hammer jump, but it's entirely impossible for a small key to appear in the dark maze. So he actually key locked himself inside that room, and he had to mirror out anyway.
Oh.
And Fuzzy also didn't check any of these chests. He didn't check the vanilla big key chest. We do find the mitts here in the Harmless Hellway, so that's actually really good for actually being able to do stuff in the Dark World.
Yeah.
What was I saying? Did not check the vanilla big key chest and didn't check the chest that's below it either. I believe Fuzzy does know now through process of elimination that the item in the vanilla big key chest is a small key.
Right.
There, just to go through some of the logic, I'd like to talk about. Basically, there is a minimum of 4 small keys in the front side of Palace of Darkness. So if you only find 3 small keys and you check every single chest except for the vanilla big key chest, you can assume that that is a key for a key and not even bother checking it.
That's interesting.
On the flip side, there are 2 small keys in the backside of Palace of Darkness, and they can only be in the chest with the turtles in the backside, or downstairs in the same room Fuzzy is just leaving, and also in the Harmless Hellway. They can't be in the Dark Maze at all. So if you do find 2 keys in the in those 3 chests, then you have to check Harmless Hellway. If you don't find 2 keys in those 3 chests, then you can assume that the Harmless Hellway has a key and is therefore key for a key, so you don't need to bother checking it.
Okay.
So Fuzzy is falling for this, might not understand the logic. It's kind of meta logic. It's really something that a lot of runners have figured out over playing this game a ton and playing, different seeds and noticing patterns and
Right.
also applying, logical whatever concepts to the actual logic that's in the code.
Nice. So Prophet, with the Titan's Meds in hand, has made their way over to Village of Outcasts and Skull Woods area, choosing to go into Skull Woods first, finding Piece of Heart so far. So there's one more item left here in Skull Woods. It might be Fire Rod locked if it's in the back half with Mothula, or on that one chest in that hallway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fuzzy is having a bit of trouble here in Palace of Darkness. Really giving a lot of time for Profegamer. Prophet is opting to go all the way through Skull Woods, at least all the way that he's able to do so.
Yeah, I don't mind this play. Skullwoods has developed a reputation for having items. I feel like maybe in V29 it's been a little bit less so, but it's still, it's two chests, two items you got fairly easy access to usually. So
yeah, Prophet actually got grabbed, unfortunately. This is kind of a tricky room if you don't have some way of neutralizing these Gyptos. I think with like good NMG strats, you can get through this room without any trouble, typically speaking, but a lot of our runners don't necessarily know them.
yeah, and those Gyptos don't play around, so it's easy to kind of get pushed around by those guys.
Yeah. The boomerang, either of the boomerangs can stun the Gyptos very well, and Ether will actually insta-kill them. Along with, I believe, Bombos and, the Fire Rod, which is probably the intended method.
Right. So Fuzzy's choosing to just go straight into Village of Outcasts here instead of the Skull Woods play, which I can understand. Without the Fire Rod in hand, Skull Woods becomes a little bit less of an exciting play to make, I guess, because there could be the possibility that one of those items from the dungeon is locked behind the Fire Rod.
Yeah. Prophet is opting to do vanilla strats here to check the big chest. It's not too slow to do if you have the hook shot, but unfortunately does not and has to take the long way back around to exit this dungeon. So Prophet has the mirror in hand. I'm wondering if he's going to bother walking towards the graveyard ledge, and Fuzzy finds Bombos here in the Sea House.
Looks like Prophet might be heading just straight down into Village of Outcasts. That graveyard ledge, I swear, it's got something every single time. It's busted me so many times in V29.
Yeah, I definitely would have routed that in, along with a bumper cave check.
Yeah.
Especially considering we've already seen catfish, so there is less of a reason, a natural reason that we'll be back in this area.
Yeah, that's true.
But either way, Fuzzy is opting to at least do the dwarves. Interestingly enough, opting to not enter Thieves Town. It is a crystal, but don't have the hammer yet, so it's possible that they could get trolled by an item if they decided to do Thieves Town just yet.
Right, yeah. So Fuzzy's going to be fluting down to 7 there, down to the swamp area to return the purple chest. So not even going to walk it down and take care of like Stumpy, Cave 45, and Hype Caves. So hopefully this pays off. Oh, wow, and it sure does. The hammer.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that was the like exactly right thing to do with that play there. So Profay has given us our first look in Thieves Town here.
Yeah, this could actually be very good for FuzzyGames, depending on if the hammer blocks something important here in Thieves Town, or even if it doesn't, it'll still be a location that Profay could have on his mind if there's an item in there. Even if
Yeah.
it turns out to just be a big 20 or a piece of art or something.
So once again, our runners find themselves in the same dungeon here. The seed has been fairly linear to this point. Oh wow, the hook shot. That's interesting for Profay because they're going to take that and probably head right over to Death Mountain. But without the hammer in hand, I don't know. Fuzzy's definitely got that advantage at this point because he's not going to go. Profay's not going to do purple chest for the next little while, I'd imagine.
I don't know about that. I think even though you get the hook shots, getting the rest of the Dark World loop done, I think is very important. Especially considering
Maybe.
we can even check the Pyramid Fairy at the end of it.
Yeah, I guess if he keeps that in mind and doesn't get like jebaited by the hookshot too quickly, which can happen. I mean, if he keeps kind of thinking about what he would have been doing otherwise, like clearing out South Dark World, he'll be in good shape. But I don't know. I get an item like hookshot, and I immediately think, oh, I've got to go over to East Death Mountain like right now.
Yeah. I guess like getting to East Death Mountain is a good play, especially considering you can clear the entire thing for the most part.
Yeah.
Including the Dark World. But I don't know. If I'm in the Thieves Town area and I still haven't checked like Hype Cave and anything, and I'm still looking for the hammer, I'm gonna do that because it's a lot more trouble to do the South Dark World stuff if you don't have a hammer.
Yeah.
Like even if you want to go into Swamp Palace, which if Profay decides to do everything here, including the purple chest, including Hype Cave, Profay will also be able to enter and fully clear Swamp Palace. It's a crystal, 6 items, and it's right there. So, like I don't know. I would personally route everything in the South Dark World loop, including Purple Chest. Then once I got my hammer, I'd be like, oh, I can do Swamp now. Do Swamp. Probably after Hype Cave, because Hype Cave might have a sword. And I don't think we've even seen Hype Cave yet.
No, we haven't.
So I'd probably do Swamp, and then I would culminate that with a trip up to the Pyramid Fairy, and then go to the mountain.
Yeah. Because climbing the mountain is definitely something that takes up a lot of time. So, like, you don't want to have to do that multiple times in a race. So, routing it the way that you just described there would be the optimal way to avoid having to do multiple trips up the mountain. Would be a really good call.
Yeah, Chad is pointing out the stun prize is a big 20, and we didn't have any way to stun enemies when we actually needed money.
Oh.
That's a slap in the face, if anything.
It really is, yeah.
Profay accidentally dropping the blind pattern here. You'd never want to see blind in the bottom side of the room. That's when you know you've messed up a bit. So I wasn't counting items. Was there an item in the big chest of Thieves Town?
Well, I think the big chest doesn't have anything, based
Okay.
on what I'm seeing in chat there.
Or maybe the big chest contains the key.
Yeah.
So that's good for Profegamer, and Profe is heading south, which means he's probably going to be checking Dig Game, then walking back up and grabbing the dwarf.
So he's doing the right thing, definitely here, which is really good to see.
Yeah. I think the goal when you're clearing Overworld is to clear as much of it as possible in one go. You don't want to try and leave. You don't want to leave as many. You don't want to leave many locations to check later if you can help it. So I think Profe is definitely on the right track. Fuzzy's doing, I think, a good thing. Though I think leaving the Dark World immediately after finding the hammer was a mistake, or rather, not taking the purple chest, not walking the purple chest down was a mistake.
Yeah.
Because now getting to Hype Cave for Fuzzy, although he does have the hammer, so getting to Hype Cave is a lot easier. I don't know.
The locations on the way down to Purple Chest might be ones that he leaves off the table for a while. So Stumpy and Cave 45. So if those have anything, then Profe might gain a little bit of an edge here.
Yeah, and that's why you definitely want to get that stuff out of the way, because it's going to take more time for Fuzzy to return there, unless like East Death Mountain is an absolute treasure trove and gives him go mode like right now.
Right.
It's looking a little. It's all the money we could have used earlier.
Yeah.
So I think Fuzzy realizes the. It's not irony, but whatever. Profe is taking what I believe is the correct route here, walking the chest down here. We're gonna see what Stump Kid has for us. We're gonna see what the Haunted Grove Ledge Cave has for us.
And he's going to be able to route this in with Bombo's tablet as well.
Yeah, that is absolutely true.
So this is it's just more and more item locations that he'll be checking that Fuzzy will be not checking for a little while. So far, nothing too exciting on Profe's side either, so... Ooh, there's our fire rod hanging out in Super Bunny Cave.
Yep. Oh, we have our Tempered Sword here on Hilly Island. I believe Fuzzy is going to be picking that up. Get Quake inside Hype Cave, along with some boomerangs. Just an assortment of boomerangs. And we're going to be delivering our purple chest, getting the hammer, and Profe will hopefully be entering Swamp Palace immediately afterwards. Or at least immediately after checking Bombo's tablet. And this is really what you want to see when you're clearing the Dark World. The ability to just get all of this out of the way.
Yeah, definitely.
And Profe is going to be picking up that Tempered Sword while... sorry, Fuzzy is picking up the Tempered Sword while Profe is getting the hammer. Hopefully doesn't forget about the tablet here.
It looks like he's heading over, so this is good.
Did Profe just try to switch from the mirror to the mirror?
Yes, that is what happened.
Oh, there's our tempered sword.
Wow, some sword sync there. Nice.
So that's actually really good for entering Swamp Palace too. It's gonna make Argus a lot easier.
So was that Bombos to get into Turtle Rock?
I missed it on my end.
Looks like our tracker Oddwalls is telling us that it is.
Yep, and Prophet is opting to go directly into Swamp Palace. Now I'm wondering, does Prophet do the Pyramid Fairy immediately after Swamp Palace? I mean, Swamp Palace is a long dungeon, and there might find something really good in here that might send him off in a different direction.
Yeah, be interesting to see which one of these two plays actually pays off. Fuzzy's going to be doing Skullwoods, having picked up the Fire Rod. There is one item still available in Skullwoods, so not a whole lot of value item-wise. It could be the one thing that kind of turns the table, but other than that, it's a crystal dungeon, so it's not a bad idea. Prophet's got a lot of items to check here in Swamp Palace, though, so could find something of use.
Yep, there is one thing that Fuzzy could do here in Skull Woods, and that is check the pedestal and know whether
True.
this is a pedestal seed. We do have the mirror, we do have the book, and Prophet finds the mushroom here in Swamp Palace. That could be interesting. Hopefully, it doesn't divert Prophet away from the Pyramid Fairy, if that's even on his mind right now.
Right, yeah.
Alright, so Fuzzy is kind of retracing the steps that Prophet took earlier. We know that there's nothing here in the front side of Skull Woods, at least nothing of importance. Now, the difference is I believe the big key is in the room, the vanilla big key room. So
Yes, it's in here behind the Gibdos here.
So the question is, does Fuzzy fall for that trap and go to the big chest, or does Fuzzy just go towards the boss? In this case, I'd probably just go towards the boss.
Yeah.
So Fuzzy does fall for the trap.
It's going to be rewarded with a compass, unfortunately.
Prophet is just making the very, very slow walk through the left side swamp.
Left side swamp always feels like it takes forever, and coupled with the fact that we don't have any boots, it just feels even slower. But left side is one of those race winners or losers. It seems it can really kind of be a determining factor. So never want to leave it behind.
Yeah, we saw a race earlier today where one of the racers skipped left side swamp and had the bow. I believe that racer actually ended up winning in the end, but it was not the greatest of plays. Alright, so Fuzzy's going to be treading new territory for us, and Prophet is going to be seeing what's actually lies here on the left side.
So our runners were kind of in like lockstep for the first hour of this race, but given the items that we've seen, have kind of given them an opportunity to diverge a little bit. So it'd be interesting to see if they end up coming back together at some point.
Yeah. Honestly, I just really like Profegamer's routing here.
Yeah.
Over Fuzzy's. I think Fuzzy has slightly better execution, but I don't know. It felt kind of weird to just flute the purple chest instead of walking it there, especially considering you had the ability to just grab everything in the South Dark World loop. Fuzzy does
Yeah.
get grabbed by a wall master.
That's always annoying.
I'm wondering what's inside the big chest here in Swamp Palace. Now, in V29, the key logic is potentially key for a key for basically anything that just gets locked, like any location that's locked by, one key.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, the big key could very easily be inside the big chest in Swamp Palace, because the only thing you need the big key for in Randomizer is the access to that big chest.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing in vanilla as well. It's just that the big chest holds the item that lets you complete the rest of the dungeon. All right, so we do find the big key here. Prophet is going to go upstairs. We'll probably have to go back downstairs and then go back upstairs again because of this weird stair glitch.
That is a really weird little quirk about that that one staircase. That's it. Only one in the game that does that to you.
Mm-hmm. Fuzzy clearing out Skull Woods, just getting a heart container for his efforts. We do find the cape here in the big chest in Swamp Palace. That could be interesting. I don't believe we've even seen what Bumper Cave has.
Yeah, no Bumper Cave, and now Spike Cave is closer to being in logic.
Whoa, where's Prophet going? Oh, okay. He already drained it. Though I believe it is faster to just go back down the stairs you came up.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I don't know. It might be faster to go that way.
That seemed pretty quick, actually.
I never really thought about taking that route.
So while Prophet is heading towards Argus here, it looks like Fuzzy is kind of following in his footsteps. It might be heading into Swamp after maybe doing Hype Cave first.
Doesn't want to go into Hype Cave right now. He's going to be checking the pyramid.
All right.
So again, we've had both crystals for the Pyramid Fairy for quite some time. So I think it's kind of suspect that we've been able to do this for so long. Fuzzy realizing that he's taking the long way when he does have the short way available to him. Prophet taking Argus down with 2 quick spins. Gets a red rupee for his efforts. Hopefully Prophet remembers about this pyramid. I've been wanting to see what's inside here for quite some time, so
yeah.
Let's get a drum roll. I guess we don't have a drum. Ooh, it's the ice rod and the shovel. Completely required. We don't know what that shovel brings us to either.
Good for Prophet here for heading right to the pyramid as well.
Yeah, this is like absolutely pristine routing by Prophet.
Yeah.
Able to clear out so much of this stuff, whereas Fuzzy hasn't even set foot inside Swamp Palace yet. Or Hype Cave, for that matter. Or Bombo's Tablet, or anything else in the South Dark World loop. So where do you go from here? I guess Prophet still has to visit the mountain. He'll be getting the fire rod there.
Yeah.
Then I guess he'll have access to Skull Woods, and we'll probably do that. But we know there's nothing really in Skull Woods.
Yeah. We haven't had anyone take a look in Desert yet. It is a pendant. We also haven't seen anyone go into Ice Palace, which we can check out at this point, but that's also a pendant. We're looking for the Cane of Samaria, and so far between our two runners, we haven't really seen any kind of indication as to where it might be.
Now, I do have a question. Did we exhaust all of the items in Palace of Darkness, or does Helmasaur have an item? Because that
Ooh,
could be huge.
that could be. I am afraid I was not keeping track of that, so I don't know. I feel like there's probably an item on Helmasaur. I feel like we saw both the we got all the keys and we saw map and compass, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So Prophet is taking care of these fetch quest items that he was given earlier. Just a single rupee at the witch's hut.
One of two single rupees, and Fuzzy looks like he's going to be heading towards Swamp Palace. So what do we still need to see as viewers? We still need the Cane of Samaria. We still need to know what we need to get into Mire, so it's potentially Ether. Is that it?
Yeah, that's kind of it, I think.
That's a little scary, considering the stuff we have available to us now, including Ice Palace, including Desert that we can enter and walk through.
Yeah.
Hopefully Prophet decides to visit Mire after visiting this. I don't think we've seen what's in Mire yet.
No, we haven't. So it'll be good intel for us, and yeah, I guess we'll know what medallion we're looking for over there.
Yeah, but Prophet's routing is going to allow him to clear out all of East Death Mountain. Probably might even skip out on the Butter Sword, honestly.
Yeah.
Which is funny. We've seen all 4 swords, but there's a pretty good chance that we might not see butter on either side.
Yeah.
Actually, a little surprised Fuzzy didn't check Bombo's tablet yet before going into Swamp Palace.
Yeah. Might go for it afterwards, I suppose. But yeah, usually a lot of runners go for that before diving into Swamp.
Alright, Prophet is going to head into the Dark World here. Fuzzy's going to spend some time retracing the steps Prophet has already traced. I don't believe anything good was in Swamp Palace.
No, it was kind of a bust.
So yeah, Prophet might clear out Skull Woods, might check the pedestal. I don't think we either saw a pedestal check either.
No, and with Prophe's routing has been so good. I imagine that after doing a little Skullwoods dive, finishing that off, might do Bumper Cave and then Graveyard Ledge, 2 locations that we haven't seen as well. So those might hold the cane or something else that we need to keep this run going.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that we haven't seen a Graveyard Ledge check yet. Especially considering Fuzzy... Well, I think the problem is that Fuzzy didn't do Skull Woods immediately upon entering the Dark World.
Yeah.
I see a lot of runners do a Skull Woods check, or maybe even a Skull Woods clear, and then head over immediately and check out Bumper Cave and Graveyard Ledge if they have the mirror.
Yeah, early mirror definitely brings the Graveyard Ledge into logic in that early kind of part of your Dark World exploration. So it was kind of odd to see him skip out on doing that check.
Okay, so Profet is going to be seeing this butter sword. Probably won't be going to grab it. Nope. Is
Well,
going
he's
to
gonna
be...
check the ether tablet.
Yeah, Ether Tablet is nice, and Spike Cave.
Awesome.
Does have quite a few hearts. I believe you can get through with 14 hearts, even without any invincibility items.
Yeah.
If you're quick enough. I think it might require hook shots and some other things, but yeah. Profet is really leaving no stone unturned here in his routing. Not actually doing Spike Cave just yet.
Heading straight for Skullwoods with that fire rod in hand. So yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have probably have checked Mire area first, but
Yeah.
considering there is one item still left in Skullwoods, I think it's not a bad play. The only thing that's really going to make this any faster later on would be is if you found boots and you came back. But considering this is a pendant desert seed, it's entirely possible that boots are somewhere in Ganon's tower. Unless it is a
Yeah.
pedestal seed, in which boots have to be somewhere.
If it's a pedestal seed at this point, that would be pretty unfortunate for our runners. They've done a really good job of avoiding pendant dungeons, other than the pod play, which was super required early on.
Alright, so Fuzzy is in the back half of Swamp Palace, is going to be clearing out the rest of it. We'll see if he decides to get the big chest, or just skip it. Whereas Profet is going to be finishing off Mothula, getting his heart container, and then probably heading towards Mire. That's my guess. Ooh, nice full magic drop from one of the Gibdos.
That's always a welcome sight.
Yeah, we do have Tempered Sword, which will make Mothula a lot easier, but going into Mothula with full magic is also really nice. Or close to full. I guess closer to half now. Alright, Fuzzy's not going back upstairs. That's interesting. Gambling on Big Chest not having anything. Which we know is a good gamble, but it might be something he either goes back into the dungeon to check after killing Argus, or it'll be on the back of his mind as a place that he had left behind. And that's a bit of, like, debt that you have going through the seed. Like, all the places that you skipped and you have to keep track of.
So Profet takes down Mothula. Will we see a pedestal check right after this here? I think it's likely.
Yeah. The way Profet has been playing, I think it's... Oh, I think Profet has... Okay. Realizes that he's gotten all the items in this dungeon. Or not?
Gave us the double fake out there.
We just got debated pretty hard.
Yeah.
FuzzyGames finishing off Argus. Gets that big 20. Big 20 could have used roughly, what, an hour ago?
Yeah.
And Profet picks up that small key. Probably
Very
just
glad to have that, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably just a memory fart.
Yeah.
Is going to be checking the pedestal, so we're going to be getting our pedestal hype in chat. And it's just bombs. So not a pedestal seat today. Your dream is dead. Okay, so Profet, where is he going? It looks like he might be checking Bumper Cave and then going towards Graveyard Ledge.
Yeah, I think that seems likely at this point. And then from there is most likely going to be heading over to the Mire area, because there really aren't too many locations left to explore other than diving into pendant dungeons.
Yep, and we are now seeing a 1 hour, 30-minute check on Hype Cave.
Wow,
the
that's
hypest
late.
of Hype Caves, even. Getting our boomerangs and... What else is in here? Oh, Quake.
And Quake. So Bumper Ledge was nothing of importance.
Yep. Looks like we are going to be checking what's in this ledge here.
It's like Fuzzy's hovering over 6 there. Oh, choosing not to go over to the Mire area quite yet.
Okay, so nothing in this cave. So if Fuzzy decides to not check it, it's good for him. But Fuzzy is in that area now. He does have the cape, so he might be making that check. Profe is... Where's Profe going?
Hammer pegs?
Ah, yes. That's an easy place to forget if you don't
Yeah.
have the hammer earlier on. Like when you get hammer, you think like more broad strokes what it unlocks, like dungeons mostly,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very easy to forget the smaller overworld locations that it unlocks, like Peg Cave and potentially whatchamacallit, the Magic Bat.
Yep.
Theprofegamer is having some fun with the flute along the way. I'm very surprised we have not seen a Mire check yet. We've had mitts and the flute for so long.
So if Mire Shed and Checkerboard have nothing, do you dip Desert Palace or Ice Palace first?
I'd walk through desert.
Yeah, I think so too.
Alright, Profe, I think, has very few locations left, unless he wants to revisit Death Mountain. Yep, just Mire time. Pretty late Mire check, I gotta say.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure where Fuzzy's going right now. Oh, looks like he didn't want to go back into the Dark World. Probably gonna be heading to Mire as well.
So Quake to get in, so we have access to Mire.
Well, Fuzzy, I think, is doing the exact same thing Profe just did. Checking Peg Cave. Nothing in the shed. We'll see what's in Checkerboard Cave probably before heading into Desert or Mire. I think the first bet is going into Desert, at least checking what items you can there.
Yeah.
The second is going into Mire.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe going into Mire is a better bet. It never feels good going into Mire when all you're really looking for is Kane.
Yeah.
But you can clear the entire dungeon of items, or at least chests, before getting the cane, and it's not too slow to get back inside.
Yeah, that's
Fuzzy's
true.
having some Fuzzy's having some fun with a skeleton chicken. All right. Ooh, Ether is in Desert. That's good because that's one item we already know
Yep.
we don't need to look for. So there's one more item here in Desert, potentially. We do find the small key, which is going to take a little bit longer in our Desert trek. Fuzzy is doing dig game, and this is why Profe's routing earlier is having such a huge impact, because Fuzzy is having to check all these locations Profe has already gotten done.
Yeah, and he looped them in together so well that there was no need to be kind of crisscrossing the world to make up for it. Oh,
Okay,
big key.
If this is an item on Landmola's situation, I would say just go directly into Mire. Just go there. Just do it. Otherwise, like, we have Spike Cave, nobody's checked. Ice Palace, nobody's checked. Oof.
Oh.
So, okay, we have Landmolas as a possibility. We have Helmasaur as a possibility. We have the entirety of Ice Palace as a possibility. And then we have a vanilla or French vanilla cane in Misery Mire. And then there's a handful of overworld locations we haven't seen, specifically Spike Cave and Spike Cave.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's about it at this point.
But Profe is seeing that shiny green pendant and thinking, hey, let's go into Ice Palace, a dungeon that is totally great and nobody hates it. It's a fun time for everybody.
I guess, if you're playing percentages, you've got the 3 items in the Ice Palace itself, plus green pendant if you choose to full clear. So, a number of locations wise, it's, I guess, the highest density at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have gone into Mire just because you need to find the big key in there anyway.
Yeah.
And if you get the cane along with that, great. If not, you have the big key, and that's 2 items potentially that you have already found. 2 more locations. This has 4 items, including the green pendant. We'll see what Fuzzy decides to do here. If he decides to go into Desert first, if he decides to go into Mire after realizing that Landmolas has an item. Looks like Fuzzy is going into Desert.
Yeah.
It looked like he was going into Mire, but I think he decided against it. Not even going into Desert. Is Fuzzy gonna go into Ice? Where's he going? Oh, he never checked Bombos.
Ah.
So he's gonna get his Butter Sword, but yeah.
Really nice bomb jump from Profe there.
Almost fell into a pit. That's not something you want to do.
Yeah.
At least Ice Palace with Tempered Sword isn't too bad.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially if you have everything to get through it, like the hook shots. You don't have to rely on bomb jumps. You have the hammer. Yeah. So Fuzzy's going to be getting butter. But where does he go after that? Does he go back to Mire or does he go into Ice? I think Fuzzy probably feels a bit behind right now. Profe might feel a bit behind due to the earlier problems with escape and other things like that. Okay, Profe is taking an interesting route here. Might be taking a more vanilla path through the dungeon. Does find 100 rupees here in the big chest. Don't know if we found any other items in Ice so far.
I think there was some rupees in the first chest as well.
Ah. So it's looking less and less like Ice Palace has what we're looking for, which is good because Ice is let's call a spade a spade. Ice is garbage.
Oh, so Fuzzy is checking out Ether Tablet here, and then hopefully gives us a look at the Spike Cave, one location that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, Spike Cave could be huge for Fuzzy to really get back into this race. And by get back, I mean that would put him squarely in the lead.
Yeah.
Oh, Ice Tea Chest has nothing good for us today, unfortunately. Alright, so we're gonna be finally seeing what's inside Spike Cave. It's honestly a little surprising that Profe has opted not to do Spike Cave when he was up here the first time, given his other routing. And
Yeah.
it might bite him. Though it doesn't today. Spike Cave is not great.
So there's one item left in Ice Palace here, and then the green pendant if Profe decides to go all the way through to Cold Stare, which likely will do in this situation. I wonder if Fuzzy's going to do a Mire dive for us here.
Or Desert Verse. Oh,
Oh,
there's Arcane in Ice Palace. That is go mode for Profegamer at 1 hour and 41 minutes. So that is really bad for Fuzzy. He really needed like the Cane to be in Mire and to go into Mire. But
yeah.
now it looks like he's gonna fall for at least the trap of going into Desert. He might fall for the trap of going to Land Molas, and honestly, he might fall for the trap of going into Mire.
Mm-hmm.
While I think going into Mire is a good play, it's obviously not the right one here, despite, you know, getting the big key and everything. Sorry, it's not technically go mode. We could need the boots, but no runner is gonna play the seed like it's not go mode.
Yeah.
Like, you'd have to be a madman to look for the boots at this point. Until you know for sure that, you know, the boots are needed.
Yeah. And even still with, 21 locations you could check in Ganon's Tower, you might find the boots somewhere in the basement there.
Yep. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like a lot of the time when the key is on the torch, the boots are just in Ganon's Tower anyway.
Yeah.
Now, are we going to get the Godmire today or something else?
I hope so. I haven't seen a Godmire in a while, so...
Another question is, are we going to see the silver arrows? Wait.
Yeah, they haven't made an appearance yet, so...
Yeah, we haven't seen them yet. I was a bit confused. I was thinking of a race I was just watching earlier. The silvers were in Graveyard Ledge, of all places.
Ooh.
Anyway. I mean, both of these runners have shown so far to be no slouches with execution, so Tempered Sword Silverless is probably not beyond their capabilities.
Yeah, I would agree.
And FuzzyGames even has, you know, Butter Sword, so... But I don't think Butter Sword versus Tempered Sword Silverless is that big of a deal, especially not when Fuzzy's this far behind.
For whatever reason, I always find that Mire is a frustrating dungeon when you are in go mode. If you have to head over to this left side, you're like, oh my god, like why couldn't the key just be over on that right side instead today? I don't feel that way about like any other dungeon really, but something about Mire bugs me when it comes to finding the big key here.
Yeah.
So Fuzzy's gonna give us a look at what the item that Land Molas has. Unfortunately, unless it's like silver arrows, not really a whole lot of value to be had here.
Yep, and we are taking a bit of a coffee break here on Profegamer's side. I don't know why Nintendo did this. Like,
Yeah.
I want to ask Shigeru Miyamoto about this. Like, why? Why would you do this to us?
Seriously.
And it looks like we're gonna have to keep searching for the big key a bit longer.
And Fuzzy Games here is unfortunately making the gamble that is not going to pay off.
Yeah. I still stand by it being the correct decision.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the right decision. Fuzzy will be able to, have a fast second pass through Misery Mire. It's just he's gonna have to leave and go to Ice Palace. And I
Yeah.
think Fuzzy only has Ice Palace left outside of like Helmasaur.
Yes.
One thing you do like to see though, or one thing that's good about this seed and seeds like it, Go Mode Kana Samaria is so nice because it means you don't have to bother you don't have to bother going into Turtle Rock until you know you're in Go Mode.
Yeah.
There's our big key. One of the most annoying chests it can be in.
Yes.
Profe's a little low on health. We don't have the powder. We also don't have silvers, but he does have 60 arrows and
Yeah.
cape. All right, so yeah, it's basically just a straight shot to the end here.
Mm-hmm.
Profe just needs to remember to hit this switch, get to Vitreous, take it down by any means necessary. Use what's the phrase? Something force. I don't know. Anyway, then it's just gonna be Turtle Rock and then Ganon Tower. Now again, we'd still have the possibility of a boots locked Ganon's Tower big key,
Yes.
which could definitely make this game interesting. But considering the fact that we haven't seen the boots yet, and there are so few locations outside of Ganon's Tower left, I don't know.
It feels like odds are.
Sorry.
Yeah, odds are pretty good. I'd say that it's going to be kicking around in Ganon's Tower if we do in fact need them.
Now, the trolliest location I can think of would be if the boots are on Laser Bridge, and we don't have to visit Laser Bridge to get a small key.
Oh.
Or worse yet, actually maybe not worse yet. Yeah, Laser Bridge is probably the worst bet. Or Mimic Cave. Profe is really low on health right now. Should probably switch to the bow. You have 60 arrows, takes 8 shots. Just do it, please. Don't die. There we go.
Must have heard you there.
All right. Fuzzy is hot on his trail. Unfortunately, does not have the Kana Samaria, though.
Yeah, that is an important piece of the puzzle for this dungeon.
Actually, another trolley location for the boots is Green Pendant.
Oh, yeah.
So this seed could take 20 minutes, or it could take another like 40.
Ugh.
depending on if Ganon's Tower Big Key trolls us today.
So Profe stocking up before heading up towards Turtle Rock there. Good call, I'd say.
Yeah, you see a lot of runners, especially ones that aren't as comfortable in their execution, take that time to go buy some potions before heading up to the Death Mountain one last time.
Yeah, especially considering it's Turtle Rock and then Ganon's Tower kind of back to back. You want to make sure you're got your safeties covered up there.
Yeah, I should say hopefully one last time.
Yeah.
Up Death Mountain. Faye taking an interesting route here, going through the Dark World, despite needing to be in the Light World to open up Turtle Rock.
So Fuzzy opens at the big chest, revealing the second item in Mire, which is 300 rupees. Not what he was looking for, unfortunately. But at this point, he probably knows that it's got to be Ice Palace or not.
Yeah, this is honestly where, as a runner, you start to have that sinking feeling in your gut, like you've either missed something or it's an appendant dungeon that you've like avoided for the entire seed and have had available for quite some time, and your opponent could have very easily went into Ice Palace like 40 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Looks like he is checking the pedestal. Could have done this a lot earlier. Might have forgotten, or might have just thought it wasn't a pendant pedestal required seed.
So now knows for certain that it is not, and will likely head over to Ice Palace next. So Profe is heading into Turtle Rock here, hoping to have it very front-loaded with keys so we don't have to do Laser Bridge.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I were running this, I would hope to need to go to Laser Bridge all the way to
Yeah.
the last chest, just to ensure that I'm getting everything and don't need to worry about Laser Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Are seeing some nice hookshot strats here.
Yeah, very, very nice.
Fortunately, we don't have the boots to just cape dash through here, or the magic, for that matter. And Fuzzy is finally on the right track. Unfortunately, it's on the right track when Profe is already in Turtle Rock after clearing Mire. Now, Fuzzy's routing in this dungeon will definitely impact how quickly he gets that Canis Amari, because it is on the right side. I believe Profe left those chests for like the absolute last thing before going to Cold Stare.
Yes. I think based on how the keys played out in the dungeon, Fuzzy's going to have to do the bomb jump in that Freezor room to save some time.
Fuzzy is opting... Okay, never mind. Fuzzy is opting to actually do the bomb jump here. Looked like he wasn't at first. I'd say it's probably more that he forgot what color it needed to be rather than he changed his mind. Having a bit of trouble. Gets a good line up here. So only 2 tries. Really good bomb jumps from our players today. Profeg,
Yeah.
first try without any real difficulty setting up. Ooh! Fuzzy getting burned by that fire bar. Gets the bomb jump again next attempt. And is through.
Ooh, even in Go mode, we got Profe doing the Mimic Cave check here. Just maybe on the off chance that silvers are kicking around.
Yeah, I'm actually very surprised by this play, but I mean, he's massively in the lead right now, so it's not going to hurt him. If this were closer, I would say this is an issue. I mean, it's an arrow. It's not the silver arrow, but it's an arrow. It's the arrow that kills Ganon.
Yeah.
Profe, gotta get that shield one way or another today.
Yeah.
You left it behind. You left it behind at the dam? Well, the game doesn't care. You're gonna get the shield. You'd have to go back to the Dark World, Dark World mainland to get rid of it if you really wanted to.
Yeah. Ooh, and I think FuzzyGames has chosen to head straight to the Cold Stare fight here. I hope he decides to head back into the dungeon and search for that cane.
Yeah. I don't know. This is an interesting play. It's not terrible, but yeah, it's not gonna be what he needs.
Maybe just gambling on it being green pendant where the cane lies.
Well, right there, Cold Stare dropped a small key, which means that in the logic, you need the cane.
Right, yeah.
Cold Stare. So Fuzzy might not know this, and he's gonna fall for the trap of heading to Sasrala.
Well, you were looking for boots on Laser Bridge, and sure enough, there they are.
Wow. So this is like the death knell for Fuzzy, unfortunately. The fact that Profe has found the boots here, even if it's on the torch, Profe is massively in the lead. Profe is having a bit of trouble with these lasers. And it's always in the last place you look, apparently. I honestly might have just taken the death there, but
yeah.
It does have some blues.
Oh wow! Well, we weren't. We were paying attention to Profe and the laser bridge. Sasrala had the silver arrows.
That is interesting, but it's not what Fuzzy needed. Where is Fuzzy off to right now, anyway? Huh.
Did we miss him picking up the cane? I don't think he has the cane.
I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say, considering it's not marked on the tracker, and we didn't see it. He didn't get it. But
Yeah.
he might have skipped out on something like Spiral Cave. Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's interesting that both of our runners skipped Spiral Cave for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
And like when you're 2 hours in, you're not in go mode, and you're doing stuff like this, I think Fuzzy feels like he's completely lost this race, which
Yeah.
yeah, it's going to impact your routing and decision making. It's going to impact your execution from here on out, and it's definitely not a good thing to feel like you're
No.
so far behind.
Meanwhile, Prophet takes down Trinex and is heading over to Ganon's tower. I wonder where the big key is going to be today. Is it going to be on the torch? That'd be kind of interesting.
Yep, there are 22 chests if you'd like to put a number in chat. This isn't a speed gaming stream, so we don't keep track of it. But the big key can be in any one of those 22 locations, including the torch. The closest to the pin wins, and good luck. What do you usually pick?
I go for something in the rando room. So if people are following the usual kind of routing, I would say like, I don't know, chest 11.
Oh, I always go with 8.
Nice.
So we'll see.
Or 1. How about 1?
There's 1, yeah. We have a 1 in chat. I don't know. They couldn't have seen it unless they were watching Prophet's stream. But Psychologist looks like they got it today.
Yeah, nailed it for sure.
We've got on prize today. We have a signed copy of the Book of Medora.
Ooh.
Be shipped to your home residence within 3 to 8 business years.
It's a very limited edition prize and has a retail value of 500 rupees.
So Theprofegamer is heading upstairs and taking out these mimics with relative ease. Does not have the silvers that Fuzzy does, but doesn't really need them.
Oh, Chad is asking who signed the Book of Medora. That's very important for its value, I think.
Oh, it was the goddess Din.
Ooh. That's a very hard signature to find, so that adds to the value of the book for sure.
All right, so we are entering the gauntlet. Pretty good execution in the first room here. The Zzax and Stalfos were playing nice. Second room, the second Stalfos, or this last Stalfos is being a bit of a jerk, but get through it eventually.
I feel like that Stalfos room is the most annoying one of the gauntlet rooms for the RNG of the enemies.
Oof, the BMO's blocking the fire rod shot here. And Fuzzy is going upstairs here. Will be... I honestly don't think there's anything else except for Helmsaur that Fuzzy could be doing right now. So
yeah.
This is a little... This is like that sinking feeling, like even if you find it, you just know there's no way I'm winning this race.
Yeah.
Prophet's out of magic here. Needs to... I think he might still have some blue potion.
I think he might have 1 left at this point. Did he have... I think he picked up 3 from the potion shop and has used 2 of them already.
Opting to go with slow strats here in this Wizrobe room. Does not really, probably just because he didn't feel like he had the magic to spare.
Yeah.
But he's gonna have to probably get a blue potion or use lamp strats. Personally, I just chugged the blue potion.
Yeah.
And one mess up here is gonna send him. Going through his inventory. Doesn't have enough.
Wow,
All
just
right.
short. Yuck.
It's fine. He got through the room. Gets a nice health refill. Doesn't have the powder, so having a health refill here is not really a bad thing either way. Still looking for some silver arrows here. Finds the bug net well after it would be useful.
Yep.
Is forgetting about something. Okay, goes back and gonna kill these Homosaurs. And Fuzzy is gonna be finishing off Vitreous here soon. But with Profe being all the way to Aga 2 almost, it's gonna be painful to see that dot done even before he's finished with Turtle Rock.
Mm-hmm.
I think Profe might be finishing Aga 2 around the same time he's finishing Vitreous. Nothing but a compass here.
Mm-mm.
He could have figured that out if he counted the items in Ganon's tower. I want to ask every single one of the randomizer players to tell me how many items there are in Ganon's tower, because I have no idea. It's probably like 20 or something.
Yeah, I think so.
Like if you're at the point where you need to count items in Ganon's tower, you know the seed has gone horribly wrong.
Yeah.
Profe having a bit of trigonometry trouble here. Finishing up Aga 2, getting many patterns deep. He's also getting a bit desynced with the other Aga clones.
That's always really annoying, yeah.
But does take him down.
So Fuzzy's going to be racing up the mountain just as Profe is heading back down towards the Ganon fight.
Yep. And if you're playing this seed and you don't see a dot done at 2 hours and 9 minutes and you're entering Ganon, like, God, like that's got to be incredibly harrowing to be just staring at the race chat.
Yep.
Like if I'm in a race and it's like 1 hour 30 and I'm entering Ganon, I'm still staring at the race. Like I don't assume I'm ahead. Profe having a bit of trouble here with the Fire Bat phase. Looks like he was going for spins, but was accidentally poking Ganon in the head.
Yeah.
Doesn't do any damage with the Tempered Sword if you do pokes. But we are now in the third phase of Ganon. He did get a Fire Bat spiral off, which is... ugh.
Gonna have to be careful with his magic consumption from here on out, seeing as we are heading into a silverless fourth phase.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, doesn't have the magic to spare today. Ooh, that was really close. Hopefully he does have a potion, because I think it's probably impossible for him to finish Ganon right now. And he does take a fall. So if you're a fan of Fuzzy, like, this is definitely what you need to see to get this race closer. Profe is probably going to Mire out and then fly all the way to get some more potions. He does have 772 rupees. Although he is just grabbing a fairy. Hopefully, this is actually a little scary for Profe.
Yeah, I don't know. I would be refilling on the potions for sure at this point.
Profe, your magic meter is low. You might want to rectify that at some point. He might have another potion. It's entirely possible, but like these hookshot strats.
That looks pretty nice. Yeah.
Just poking Ganon with the hookshot for a while to avoid it. You do have iframes during the hookshot animation. I was actually surprised to learn that wasn't just a Japanese 1.0 thing. It's actually even in like the English release as well.
Yeah.
It seems like a weird oversight.
Yeah.
But from what I hear, it's even in like the player's guide. They talk about the iframes. All right, so Fuzzy is going to be heading through Change Hop soon. Now, Profe learning about the light arrows. He does have a blue. Okay, that's good. But this is actually really bad because he lost.
Missed torch glitch.
Yeah, he missed the torch glitch. And without the torch glitch, you can get maybe like one spin, 2 tops per torch cycle. So he's gonna either just be slogging through this fight, or he's gonna have to leave and come back. I don't even know if he has enough magic to do this.
It might be just enough if he's like right on point here.
Yeah, might be just almost enough. Ooh, that was close to a double. How far we have fallen to be hoping for doubles in Ganon.
Yeah. Oh.
I don't know if it's possible. This magic meter is depleting very quickly. And this is the sort of thing that Fuzzy definitely needs to get back into this race. Yeah, I think 32 lamps is about right. So it's close. He has to be very efficient to do this. Come on. Ooh. And that is not something you want to see if you want to be able to fully do this without torch glitch and without half magic or any potions left. Ooh, again, another missed cycle. Ooh, actually got it this time. That could have been a double too. Oh,
he gets him!
So that just about does it.
So Profe has to just walk up into the next room here, and he does, and it finishes with a time of 2:15:25.
Yeah,
Put your
GG.
GGs in the chat.
All right, we're going to be seeing if Profe wants to join us for a quick interview. That does set Profe at 2 and 1. We'll be setting Fuzzy at 1 and 2. And that's got to be a nerve-wracking experience to be finishing up Ganon at 2 hours 15 minutes.
Yeah, and that magic bar creeping ever closer to being empty.
What an ending. I kind of hope that Fuzzy was a bit closer behind.
Yeah.
Because that would have been quite the clutch ending.
So looks like Profe is here in the waiting room, so let's drag him on in and see how he's doing. Hey there, Profegamer! GG's!
Now he might have push to talk on.
Hello there.
Hey, there we go. GG's, man.
Whew, thank you.
So, I guess just first things first. How about that? How about that torch glitchless, silverless Ganon?
Oh my God, I winging a prayer. I was really after the fall. I was like, I can't lose and have to start this over again.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the feeling when, you know, we're 2:15 into a run here and you haven't seen your opponent done. You thinking that he's got to be right behind you there. And so you had to really clutch it out there, which was really exciting to watch.
Yeah, it was. I'm not. Silverless Ganon is something I definitely need to practice more, and so I didn't feel super comfortable. But I knew that I wasn't going to go hunting for those silvers, which coincidentally did he pick them up?
Yep, they were at Sahashala today.
Oh, of course they were.
Interestingly enough, he decided to go straight to Cold Stare and didn't do the right side of Ice Palace, and ended up missing out on the cane for quite some time.
Yeah, when I mean, everything was telling me to do Ice Palace. All the item progressions, I was like, Kane's got to be in here. And I know you guys saw me poking around for a bit, but I was like, we'll see what this has. Worst case scenario, I got Green Pendant. Maybe there's something good there, which there was. But I'm glad I made that tip in.
Definitely, yeah, good call.
So I guess just a general note on your routing. I made many comments about how efficient your routing was, especially once you got that Dark World access. You were able to clear out pretty much everything once you got the mitts, and you did like Thieves Town, the Dwarves, Purple Chest, Bombo's Tablet, and then even went into Swamp Palace immediately after checking the Purple Chest, and went to the pyramid after that. So I guess, yeah, that was just really impressive. Did you have to keep reminding yourself that you had all of the crystals needed to get to the Pyramid Fairy?
I purposely put it off for a little bit. I didn't forget that I had them. I wish I'd gone there a little sooner, but with the routing, it's always like, all right, you got to think 3 steps ahead. And, that's the thing that I've been practicing a lot is how do you get from point A to point B with the most efficient routing, because that really could be a huge time loss. So thank you for the compliments.
Yeah, I mean, at least as far as I was seeing, I don't think there was any faster, better way to get to the pyramid other than what you did. Like, the only other option would have been putting off Swamp Palace, and we know Swamp Palace wasn't strictly necessary, but sorry, Fuzzy's not very happy about fighting that that big key at Gaddis Tower. Anyway, but you were able to clear out everything along the way in one big swoop, and it was just really satisfying to see.
It ended up making a bit of a difference in the overall time of your run against your opponent here, because Fuzzy left a couple of those locations on the board still, and so as he was looking for Kane, had to go back to a lot of the locations that you had like kind of routed in much more efficiently. So it paid off in this race quite a lot. So good work on that.
Thank you. Yeah, I figure my biggest weakness is execution in a lot of ways, and so I know that Randomizer is as much a game of execution as it is puzzle solving, and so I decided to put my strength in the latter rather than the former, at least for now. But next week, obviously, I have to practice a little bit more on the execution.
Nice.
So one thing I thought was interesting. Why did you decide to farm for Zora like immediately? Like really early on in the seed?
I figured that'd be a question mark for people. I figured I had the flippers, and I think the flippers are really leading you to hobo for the lamp. But I figured if I was going to do flippers and Zora had something, I wanted to do it in one fell swoop. I wanted to get the waterfall and Zora at the same time instead of having to go back because, I think, and maybe people can scientifically prove this differently, but I think that the time loss would have, I don't know if it would have made up for me farming, but in my mind, I wanted to get it all done sort of in one go.
Yeah, Fuzzy actually lost quite a bit of time at Zora. He ended up, I believe, 3 rupees short of 500 and had to farm off of the Zoras and crabs in the area for like at least a few minutes before getting the 500 necessary.
Oh man, that's rough.
Another thing, why did you skip out on Spike Cave and Spiral Cave? Noticed that when you first went up to Death Mountain, you had the ability to clear pretty much everything. But you got Ether Tablet and then didn't bother poking your head into Spike Cave.
Spike Cave was in the back of my head. If I didn't find the cane in, and I know that not super efficient there on Death Mountain, but I knew if I didn't find it in Ice Palace, I was going to go to Spike Cave next. Spiral Cave, interestingly enough, I said to myself, do Spiral Cave, and I guess just the nerves, the adrenaline, I've totally forgotten about it. Luckily, it wasn't holding anything of super significance. At least I don't think so. So it worked out in my favor. But you're absolutely right. If I were watching me, I'd probably say, why is he skipping on those 2 locations? But they were in my head, and that was sort of the next step. Because when I realized that I'd forgotten Spiral Cave, that was my next sequence of events, was going to go up there and clear those 2 things.
Okay. Yeah. What about locations like Land Molas and Helmasaur, which I believe both of them had items? Were those in your head as well?
Oh, absolutely. When I saw the 2 items in pod, I figured, what are the chances that there's a third? And as you're saying, there were items, but I was just kind of gambling on the fact that neither of them had items. But I did have a moment of pause leaving Desert Palace thinking, should I go and do Land Molas? What if there, I don't know if I had checked the pedestal at that point, but I was like, what if there's something on the pedestal? So both in the back of my head, I guess I kind of took a chance that I didn't have anything in progression.
And it turns out that was the right call because they did not have anything. We don't know what Helmasaur had, but Land Molas only had a piece of heart, I think. So it was the right call to just leave it.
I'm glad sometimes my calls work out in my favor. Most of the time they do not, but in this case they did.
Cool. Any other thoughts on that seed and that race? I mean, the seed was very interesting. we'll say that. It's very rare to see a race end with the winner taking 2 hours and 15 minutes. So
I was super not happy about the bomb start, and you saw I took a death in the early stage. I don't like the bomb start. For me, I still haven't really figured out sort of the pageantry around getting the guards in the right place at the right time. And the fact that it was an Aghanim seed, I was like, of course, this would be an Aghanim seed, just because. But and I was also a little worried that I was going to die Aghanim with the 7,000 blue balls that he threw at me. So, but otherwise, I'm pleased. I know it was a higher time, but I'm pleased with what I did and how things paid off. And and it was awesome to run against FuzzyGames. He's a really nice guy. I talked to him a lot prior to the seed, so certainly go follow him. He's a super nice dude.
cool.
It's awesome. And so, I mean, you're heading into the 2-in-1 part of the Swiss stages for next week. How are you feeling about that?
If the word dark horse, if you look at it in the dictionary, I'm pretty sure that my picture is there about 7 times. But I mean, I mean, I've beaten my record in a tournament, so 2 wins in a tournament is already better than I thought I was going to do. So I'm just going to keep having fun and getting better and playing against some really cool people and really strong players. So I'm really excited about it. And thank you guys and restreamers and Tracker and everybody for really doing a lot of heavy lifting behind the scenes. You guys are awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, there's definitely no slouches in the 2-in-1 bracket, I must say. Like a lot of the heavy hitters are in 3-0 now, but there have definitely been some difficult pairings so far. So, yeah, I don't envy anybody sitting at even 2-in-1 right now with their next opponent.
Well, all I can do is my best and, you know, just having fun. I mean, this game is my favorite game, and if nothing else, the gift here is that I get to just have a lot of fun, meet a lot of really neat people in the community, and keep going. And maybe I'll be 3-in-1, maybe I'll be 2-in-2, but whatever the case is, just gonna have a ton of fun in the meantime.
That's awesome.
Cool. Well, yeah, looks like Fuzzy is on Aga 2. We'll be getting to Ganon here in short order. We'll have a lot easier of a time on Ganon than Profe did. So, yeah, this looks like we're going to be finishing up here probably around 2 hours, 30 minutes, maybe a little bit less. Noticing that we didn't find powder, we didn't find half magic, despite the fact that those are 2 of the better safety items in the game.
Yeah, I guess we could go back to Lumberjack and pick up the powder, but
Oh,
I
right,
don't think anyone wanted to do that.
That's where it was.
Yeah, that was kind of an early potential troll item that could have really ruined this race for a couple of runners here, but didn't turn out to be much of anything, unless it is holding that half magic maybe, but that's not necessary to finish the game.
Yep, we're on the second stage here. Butter Sword, it's pretty quick. Only 6 slashes to beat the first 2 phases of Ganon with Butter. Already on to stage 3. And with silver arrows in hand, this last phase is going to be easy. Don't even need to bother getting the torch glitch. In fact, it's oftentimes more advantageous to not get the torch glitch on silvers. But he does go for it anyway. One silver arrow. There's 3 more and he's down. Fortunately, having to dodge a fire bat there couldn't get the double there. This looks like an easy double, although get another fire bat off.
All right, here we go with the last shot.
And that's it. Ganon is down. Fuzzy just staring at us, showing us just what he thinks about this seed, and finishes with an SRTV time of 2 hours, 29 minutes, and 57 seconds. Could have stayed around for a few seconds just to make it 2:30. But GG to FuzzyGames. We'll see if he wants to hop in for an interview as well. Yeah, this seed was definitely not fun.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we had the required AGA. It was linear, and it was kind of a slog for the first 45 minutes or so before it kind of opened up a little bit and gave our runners a little bit to play with.
Yep, looks like Fuzzy stepped away for a minute, probably to collect himself after that seed. It's a good strat, honestly. Honestly, with a seed this slow, like having a collection rate of only 162 is honestly not too bad.
Yeah, I think it definitely speaks to Profe's efficient routing and not really wasting too much time checking locations that he didn't have to. So, yeah.
Yeah, I find the collection rate lies to you a little bit. I mean, it probably doesn't actually lie, but there are a lot of cases where you'll either see an item out in the world and not pick it up, or you'll go through a dungeon and realize that the only chests left are junk that you don't need. And then, like,
Yeah.
there's the entirety of the Ganon's Tower basement that we didn't check.
That's true, yeah.
So, a lot of times, like, if you get up to, like, the 190s, that's where you really start to feel the pain. Fuzzy is declining an interview, probably not too happy with this seed. Might not have a mic set up or something, but yeah. So I guess that about does it for us. I'd like to give a shout out to our runners. If you liked what you saw today, feel free to toss them a follow. I'd like to give a shout out to our restreamer, Liminality Carb. I'd like to give a shout out to our tracker Oddwalls, who kept us from forgetting things.
Yeah, that always helps.
I'd like to give a shout out to my co-commentator Sabatender.
Thank you. And Rue, it was a great time this morning commentating with you. I had a blast.
Yeah, same. And yeah, so I guess just to give an idea of other races that are happening, we have a race happening right now that just started on Speed Gaming 3. There's Felix TC versus Sakura Tsubasa. So that's good. You should probably go there. And if you want to watch Bradley versus Sinhi, I don't know. There's that starting at 2 p.m. on Link to the Past Randomizer 2. So I guess that about does it for us. Thanks for watching, and I guess we'll see you next mission.